right. Now, how do we insert our images? We now have our images. We've chosen the best image. We've saved it on our computer in our images folder. How do we call the image to display on our web page? Let's say here we want the image to be showing. How do we insert the image? Okay, now to add an image to your web page, you will have to use the image element, and the image element is also an example of an empty element. That means it has no closing tag. Let me bring the image. So it is img. When I do an img, what do I do? The img element contains two attributes. One is the source attribute, and the other one is what? It's an auth attribute. Now the source attribute tells the browser where it can find the image file. In this case, it is what? A relative URL. A file, the image file that is located on your computer. So the source attribute tells the browser where to go and look for the image. So we are writing the first attribute is what? src to represent the source, image source, equal to, you bring an inverted comma. You know, anytime you bring an attribute, you should bring an equal to sign and then inverted commas or quotation marks. In between the quotation marks is where you enter your link. So where can we find this image? So you can find it in the folder called images on the computer. Image, what's the name of the file? You bring a /. Now automatically you see the text editor is suggesting 3 of the images that can be found in the what? In the images folder. That is one of the reasons why I like Visual Studio Code. So which one do we want to use? Let's say we want to use the course. And anytime you are writing, you are sourcing an image, you should indicate the image extension. So you can say at the end .jpg. If it is a png file, you must indicate .png. Any file format at all. So far as you are sourcing it, you should indicate it. This one can just display. The other information I will explain it later. Let me just save this one. So this is just the basic syntax for inserting an image. So you bring the image, you bring the source of the image equal to, you enter the source. So you are telling the computer to go on a, you are telling the browser to go on the computer, look for a folder called images. Inside images, you look for a file called course.jpg. Okay, so let me just save and refresh my index. You can see my image showing beautifully on the page. You can see it here. That is the image I inserted. I inserted it right below the multi-list. And I told you HTML renders, the browser renders what? HTML document from top to bottom. So depending on your own structure, your own arrangement, that is the way the browser is going to what? Display whatever you've done. So this is an image, and this is the link to that particular course on YouTube. Now I spoke about image having two attributes. One of the attributes, like I said, is source. Another attribute you can add is what? Alt. ALT. Anytime you bring an alt or any attribute, what do? You bring an equal to sign and a quotation marks. What do you put inside? You can just say you are putting extra information in case the image does not show. This alternative text should show. So you are telling the browser that when something happens, in case something happens and then someone visits my website and it doesn't see this image for one reason or the other, this alternative text should display. So this text will display, and it will contain some explanation about what the image is. So you can just write YouTube course. So this is a YouTube course. Let's save it. Let me refresh my browser. The image is showing, so the alternative text is not showing. Let me try, and then let me remove the image source, save it and try. And you see, if you check here, you are not seeing my image, but you are seeing the alternative the alternative text I place inside the image element. You can see it here because there's a problem with my image. So it is possible that your image might have a problem. It is corrupted. Maybe your file is corrupted. It has been deleted on the server. Definitely it will not show on your website. But you have to also add an additional information to let the person know, okay, there was a banner here or there's an image here. Let me let my image show .jpg. There are a lot of attributes you can put inside the image element. One of it is even a description, okay, a description of what the image is or how the image or what the image does. So let's say that is a title. So let me add a title so that you can understand whatever I mean. The title, also between the title I can just say this is a course from Sewuni Coding School on YouTube that teaches how to program or code without. Then you can just add this, you save it. Let me just refresh my browser to see. Now what this one does is that anytime you put your mouse pointer on the image, it will give you the information as a tooltip. As you can see, when I hover you see a piece of information that is saying this is a course. It's a course from Sewuni Coding School on YouTube that teaches how to program or code without coding. That is an additional information you are adding so that when people place their pointer on the image, that particular information or description should appear. That is not compulsory to do though, but it is a very good practice. If you adopt it, it's going to help because it will allow people to also understand whatever the image is trying to say.